Okay. Hi guys, how are you all? So tonight my topic is talking about believing that it's possible and having faith in your journey and having that trust that doing the do is going to make you become a national vice president. So one thing I really wanted to talk about was believing that you will be a national vice president. I think that is such a powerful part of creating that unwavering momentum, that magnetic force that you have when you speak to people and when you're offering this business is believing that you're going to be a national vice president. I love how, we're taught all the time it takes the same amount of energy to set a massive goal and to dream so big that it does to set a small goal or to play small. So I think, believing that you will be a national vice president will do amazing things for your business. And I believed that from the very beginning of my business. I really believed I was going to go to the top. I believed that I had what it took. I believed that if these other guys can do it, I can do it too. So, and then I've come across a lot of people throughout the journey who I've had to help them with that belief and help them, grow themselves more to really back themselves in that way. So I really challenge you to ask yourself if you can see yourself on these chairs at Maui. Can you see that? Can you smell the ocean water there? Can you feel what that feels like in your very being, that you made it, that you did it? Can you hear that voice in your ear whisper, I knew you could do it? Because you totally can. And believing that is the most powerful thing. If you don't believe that, the best actors in the world can't hide that. And people can see that in you, they can feel it in you when you speak, and they are way less likely to join you when they know that you don't vision yourself in that way. Would you want to follow someone who doesn't vision themselves as a top leader? No, you want to follow someone who's going to take you to massive places. So it's so important. It's such a huge part of your journey. Okay, so what have I done here? The number one problem that keeps people from winning today is lack of belief in themselves. I think we've all pulled that face before that she's pulling, and it's so true. We doubt everything. That chimp on our shoulder, the moment that we start to feel like we're doing really well, we hear, I can't believe you think you could have actually done this. Are you serious? Do you think you can do this? And the negative self-talk starts to kick in. So, and that's what I really want to go further into tonight. So this is a great thing to print and have out on your wall somewhere. Take a screenshot of it and write it down, type it up. That'll help you remember it even more. These are things that helped me so much. So I would even recommend to just grab a highlighter, start your day. So say you're going to start tomorrow and start with groom yourself. Pay attention to do that today and then highlight it. The next day, dress nicely. Okay, I might try that. And you'll feel silly, guys. You feel silly going through some of this. Photoshop your image. I remember thinking, what does that mean? That feels silly. But I just paid more attention to, the little accessories and, my makeup and the little bits of my hair, and just like really neatened myself to the best that I could. And I felt great when I left the house. So, thinking positive, killing negative thoughts, all of these things, guys, are so powerful. So each day, just be like, right, I'm going to really pay attention to this today. Work on one at a time, work your way through the list. And then after day 25, start again. This time you might do 3 a day. You're feeling more confident now. You're understanding them more. Even Google one, in each area that will help you understand why it is so important for your mindset. Napoleon Hill once said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So powerful. If you think you can or you think you can't, you are 100% right. Believing that you can is 90% of the journey, easily 90% of the journey. So you get what you expect. I just want to read a story straight out of The Success Principles, this amazing book here, about this. And that will understand the picture of the knee. There's a method behind my madness. The picture of the knee is to help you remember this story. When you think about you get what you expect. So there were some doctors in Texas, and they were doing a study on knee surgery, and they were doing a study on the power of the mind. And so what they did, I'll just read straight out of here. They assigned patients with sore, worn-out knees to one of 3 surgical procedures. One was scraping out the knee joint, one was washing out the joint, and one was doing nothing. During the nothing operation, doctors sliced the patient, made 3 incisions in the knee as if to insert their surgical instruments, and then pretended to operate. 2 years after surgery, patients who underwent the pretend surgery reported the exact same amount of relief from the pain and swelling as those who had received the actual treatment. The brain expected the surgery to improve the knee, and it did. Guys, the power of the brain and expecting things is absolutely insane. You hear stories like that all the time. And I really challenge you to think in your Arbonne business how much you expect the success. You know, do you hesitate on the business call because you're expecting them to say no? You hesitate on asking them to do a presentation for you because you're expecting them to say no. Realign that, guys. Consider yourself as a vice president. Consider yourself as someone who no one would say no to, because they would be crazy, because you're for real. You're doing this for real, and what you're offering is life-changing and insane. Why would anyone want to say no to that? And I've always been somebody who expects a yes, and I'm generally shocked when people say no. If someone's not interested or doesn't want to have a presentation for me, I'm like, why? Why don't you, did you just hear that it's going to help my business so much? You know, I don't get it. I get really confused. Why don't you want to look at the business? I hear you saying all the time that you're really, really struggling, and I have something for you. So really, really concentrate on that, guys. And like I was saying earlier, the best actors in the world can't hide if they're expecting a no. It will come across in you. You won't own what you're stepping into. So think about what you're expecting before you go in there. Sooner or later, those who win are those who think they can. Every time. So here's another quick little story out of the book that I want to read about a man named Tim Ferriss. So Tim Ferriss believed in himself. In fact, he believed so strongly in his abilities that he won the national Sanshou kickboxing title in just 6 weeks after being introduced to the sport. As a prior All-American and judo team captain at Princeton, Tim had always dreamed of winning a national title. He had worked hard, he was good at his sport, but repeated injuries over multiple seasons had continually denied him his dream. So when a friend called one day to invite Tim to watch him in the National Chinese Kickboxing Championship in 6 weeks' time, Tim instantly decided to join him in the competition. Because he had never been in any kind of striking competition before, he called USA Boxing and asked where the best trainers could be found. He traveled to a tough neighborhood in Trenton, New Jersey, to learn from the boxing coaches who had trained gold medalists. After 4 grueling hours a day in the ring, he put in more time conditioning in the weight room to make up for the lack of time he actually had in the sport. Tim's trainers focused on exploiting his strengths instead of making up for his weaknesses. Tim didn't want to merely compete, he wanted to win. When the competition day at last arrived, Tim defeated 3 highly acclaimed opponents before making it to the finals. As he anticipated what he would have to do to win in the final match, he closed his eyes and visualized defeating his opponent in the very first round. Later, Tim told me that most people fail not because they lack the skills or aptitude to reach their goal, but because they simply don't believe they can reach it. Tim believed and he won. How powerful is that? So many gems in there, guys, to really help you, own the path to success. The visualization, believing that you can. That story is so, so powerful. So would you believe I found a little video by Tim Ferriss? So I'm going to play it. It only goes for a minute with an activity that's going to help you guys label that fear and get it out of your way. Because ultimately it's fear that holds us back from believing we can, because the fear is that we can't. So this is a little activity to show you guys that you can. Yeah, I'll just play the video.
So when I was interviewing Jamie Foxx for Tools of Titans, I asked him how he developed confidence in his kids. He's one of the most confident human beings I've ever met. And he said that whenever they were facing fear or afraid of something, stressed about something, he would say, "What's on the other side of fear?" He would ask them that. And then he'd pause and he'd say, "Nothing. Nothing's on the other side of fear." Meaning that if you dissect your fears, if you name them and study them, they lose their power. And the way I translate that is with something called fear setting in my own life. Rather than goal setting, that's fine, but you can't be driving around with the emergency brake on. So fear setting is very simple. I look at the take a piece of paper, I divide it into 3 columns. At the top, I put what I'm afraid of and the decision, whatever I think is risky or scary. First column, all the worst things that could happen in detail, the worst things that could happen. Second column, for each of those bullets, what I could do to minimize the likelihood of them happening. And then last column for each bullet, if they happen, how could I get back to where I am now? If you do this exercise, what you end up doing is completely disarming your fears because you've made them very, very specific. You've taken them from hazy to extremely clear. And that allows you to take risks and do incredible things simply because you've removed the emergency brake.
Cool. Hey, how cool is that? So I've just quickly wrote those things down in case you didn't get a chance to write them down before. So, you know, the worst things that could happen in detail. And then so for each dot point, you want to, you know, keep that in line. So the worst thing that could happen, the biggest thing that you fear when you want to put yourself out there when you grow your Arbonne business, and then ways to minimize that happening, and then ways to come back if they do happen. Such a great way to label your fear. And when you map that out, you'll see that there's nothing to be afraid of. Like you said, once you label the fear, it loses all of its power. Okay, another point I wanted to quickly touch on tonight is it helps to have someone else believe in you first. And I think that's something that we are so grateful to have. I am so grateful to have about this business because I have never felt more believed in my life than these people you can see in these pictures here. And, you know, I think not just network marketing, not just Arbonne, but our team specifically really have a great grip on this. I can guarantee you that your leadership team and your vice president team are dying to hear from you as much as you want to reach out to them. I love hearing from my team. I love breathing belief into them. I love helping them. I love redirecting them on the way to their greatness and what they deserve to achieve. When you know your team's why and you know in their heart of hearts why they want to do it, there is nothing I want more than to help them stay in line with making that become a reality. And there is nothing you guys could ever do that would stop your leader believing in you. Ever. Like I said, I've never felt so believed in, and that made me feel so powerful. So, you know, really showing up to that though, and recognizing that that's what you have access to is powerful. I recognized very quickly in my journey that I had access to people who believed in me. So instead of calling the people, so, you know, for example, if I'd had a bad day in my Arbonne business or a bad day, whatever, instead of calling my friends who would say, you know what, Denny, I think you've already tried so hard. Don't worry anymore. It just sounds too hard. I can't believe you even got this far. I could never do that. I would call Stacey or I would call Kelly and say, well, why am I feeling stuck here? I'm having the worst day. I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And they would encourage me and say, yes, you can. And this, I remember hitting this same wall too. This is what we need to do to get around it. If I never called them, I would have never got that. You know, my phone goes so much and I love it. I love hearing from everybody, but I don't have time to go find everybody. You need to step up and say, I want help, and I'm going to surround myself with people who believe in me first, who can see it clearer than I can see it yet. And they're going to help paint the picture for me to see that. So how beautiful are these pictures to just, you know, show how powerful we are. And we want everyone in these pictures. There is room for everyone in these pictures. Everyone. The sky is the limit. So I just want to finish tonight with you guys on something that I think is so powerful, is a quick exercise that I do regularly. At first I felt extremely silly, but it didn't take long to be extremely powerful. And that's to look at yourself in the mirror, and whatever your dream is, look at yourself in the mirror and declare that you are indeed going to achieve it, no matter what the price is. You're going to achieve it. Have that moment with yourself, that moment where you look yourself dead in the eye, you know all the crap that's in the way, and you look yourself in the eye and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to plug in. I'm going to call up. I'm going to do these activities. I'm going to do the things that are going to help me, because I'm going to be in that chair at Maui. I'm going to make this happen for me. Oh my goodness, it gives me chills, because when you can do that, when you can step into your greatness like that, and when you can see it, the magnetic effect that has on the people around you and the momentum that that creates will literally blow your mind. It will completely blow your mind. I actually Googled a photo of someone rolling up their sleeves because I find that there's power in that practice. Like even me, I'm like, when I go to talk to myself, sometimes I do that. I don't know why. It sounds so silly. I know. I can imagine you guys are laughing your bums off right now, but it's something that makes me feel empowered. And I love how it says down here, the man who rolls up his sleeve is rarely the man who loses his shirt. And I thought, oh, wow, that is so powerful. So yeah, like look at his face. Just look at it for a second. It looks like somebody who means serious business. So, I'll stop sharing. So thank you so much for plugging in tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed it so much. And yeah, have the very best. Well, what day is it today? Wednesday. I'm still a bit scattered from leadership retreat. It was absolutely amazing. I landed last night, went straight into business appointments, straight into massive activity today and kids and everything else. So there's so much happening. March is the month. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Doesn't matter where your mind's at. All that matters is what you decide to do from now. That's all that matters. The time goes like that. Before you know it, it'll be another 12 months and you can completely change your whole life around in that time. So start now. Start like you've never started before. Go get in that mirror tonight and be like, it is time to step up, to step into my greatness and to own the life I desire so much. You're worth it. You can. Rock March. Mwah. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.